Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23 and it is now time to start our MotoGP career mode. It is time for the MotoGP class and we have finally decided on what team we will be riding with. But for now it is the winter testing right here in Portimao. It's time to see the team that I've chosen, and it is of course the GasGas team. Now, following in the footsteps of Pedro Acosta in real life, we have joined the GasGas team. We'll be on the KTM RC16, and I am very keen to see how we can get on in the MotoGP class. A very successful Moto3 season and a terrific Moto2 season. I cannot wait to see what happens in MotoGP. Now, we do have two options to choose from in this year's test. So of course we do have Spec A, which we're on right now. Spec A is what Paul Espargaro and Augusto Fernandez were using in the last season. Unfortunately we have replaced Augusto Fernandez, so we'll have a positive, experienced teammate in the form of Paul Espargaro, but it's just a shame for Augusto Fernandez to get the boot, considering he has kept that seat in real life of course, but sad to see Augusto leave. But as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, not bad in terms of tyre wear. I like to see that's on medium. That's certainly a change from what it was in Moto 2, where everything was pretty much on high, so high tyre wear and high fuel consumption. However, yes, fuel consumption is still high for us on board the GasGas, so that's a little bit concerning, but good engine power, good controlled fuel delivery, and the handling is not bad. But as you can see, that very concerning statistic, zero stability. Nothing, absolutely nothing in terms of stability. And usually when I use the KTMs, GasGas, whatever you want to call them, I do struggle a bit on the front end. Now this could be a little bit concerning for my season, so I'm a little bit concerned about that, but we just got to see how things go. I have been playing a lot of Moto 2 recently, and jumping to MotoGP is going to be quite the challenge. But I tell you what, I am ready for the challenge, and I hope you guys are ready to watch this season unfold. I simply cannot wait. We'll be including sprint races, we'll have the full races as well. Not quite decided how I'm going to do it, whether I'm going to upload the sprint race first on one day and then maybe do the day after we do the the full race, or we just include it all in one video. I have set up a poll, so let me know in the comments section down below, or answer to that poll to let me know what sort of plan you want me to do. It probably would be easier for me to have the sprint race on one day and then the race afterwards, because I find that just the simplicity of someone finding the video, if they want to catch up on the season, if they want to watch the championship and watch the career mode unfold, it's easier to follow with the sprint race and then a separate video for the race. So I'm thinking about doing that, but I will look to see what you guys think in the poll. Always keen to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments section down below. Now, I did promise to show you the opportunities that I had to choose from in MotoGP, but I will be honest, I've lost that video. I think I might have deleted it by mistake, so unfortunately, I can't show you what teams I had available, but I will tell you. I remembered it, it's not a problem, and I remember recording the specific video for it. I just didn't have any footage to show you. I could just remember, just have the voiceover. But basically, I had two options, and there was only two available for MotoGP. Moto 2, there was only one available, and that was to stay with the same team, which is bizarre. Moto 3, there was quite a few, but for MotoGP, there was two, and I think a custom independent team, but honestly, I don't like those, so I'd rather just join a real team. So, the options were GasGas, obviously, because that's which we've chosen, and the RNF Aprilia team. Now, I very nearly went for the Aprilia, but if you've been watching for a while, then you'll know in MotoGP 21 I did go with the factory Aprilia team, and honestly, I've never used a KTM in the career mode. I don't think, maybe Moto 3 in MotoGP 22, although I was with the Green Power, CIP Green Power team. I think that's the only time I've chosen a KTM in any of my career modes. So this one's an exciting opportunity. GasGas, KTM, it's all the same. It's the RC16 they're going to be using. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how we go. And of course, massive shout out to Sergio23. You may have seen the post already, but of course he is the livery master, the artiste of the aces. Of course it is Sergio23 who has made another terrific number and helmet combination. And recently we seem to be having this unspoken communication, Sergio and I, about the colour purple. The colour purple is really making its presence known on my channel. Every now and again it pops up as the number. It's also the outline to my DrAce logo, and now it's here on the helmet. And of course that is an MT helmet, kind of similar to Pedro Acosta as a matter of fact, but we wanted to try something new, try a different helmet, still sticking with the Alpine Stars leathers. I think the Stay Ace logo on the back of the leathers just looks really good on the Alpine Stars and not so much on the Dainese. Sometimes it just looks a little bit off. But first couple of laps, I guess I've done a lot of introduction here and I've not really spoke about the bike, but what I can tell you is that it doesn't feel like it does in standard game modes. It feels very unique. So I'm going to jump onto Spec B and see if that bike feels it feels a little bit better, because right now it's not that great. But anyway, let's jump to the second package, because it's important to know what is different between Spec B and Spec A. And I've got to be honest with you, well, I mean, have a look, but Spec B for me just doesn't look like an option at all. It's nice to have options, it's nice to have choices, but when the second choice is just so useless, I think we've pretty much made up our mind, which I'm disappointed, because I think having the newest spec is always the way to go. That's how you want to try and improve. But I can't imagine that Paul Espargaro and Augusto Fernandez from the Tech 3 team last season were really, you know, doing anything particularly special. I can't imagine them really pulling houses down. I don't know the term. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But the point is that I'm sure they're not doing absolutely anything incredible last season. And if Spec B is worse than Spec A, we've got a pretty tough championship ahead of us. We're going to have to really work hard with the Tech 3 team and just hope that we can get some interesting pack upgrades during the summer break. So we'll see what happens. So there's a couple of tests this season. Of course, the probably most difficult circuit to do a test on is the Portimao track. And as you can see already, actually, which I've not really been paying attention to, because the gap is huge. It's 2.3 seconds to Quartararo, which is very concerning, but I'm not too worried about that right now, because it's testing, anything can happen. I don't know how well the AI is going to cope with testing. Possibly throughout the session it may improve, and we may look at maybe being 20th is actually still good enough for the top 10 in the race. Who knows? This is all very new to me. This is MotoGP class. I've only ever done really career mode videos in the lower classes, so this is all new to me. But that's Spec B, and let's see what we can do with the second of our two options with the GasGas bike. So let me know in the comment section down below, before we start really getting into the nitty-gritty and how it feels. What do you think about the choice out of the two? Would you have gone for Aprilia again, even though I did one just 2 years ago? Or would you just go for the challenge? Because this is what I'm treating this as. This is a challenge now. To use the KTM, to use a bike I'm never really that fond of. I don't use it online. I don't have much success with it online when I do use it. So this could be very interesting. But what the interesting part is for me is that this is now the third year of making content in MotoGP career modes. MotoGP 21, 2 and 3. I don't think I did a MotoGP 20. If I did, apologies, I've forgotten. But that means I have still never chosen the Ducati. I don't know why or how that's happened, but I've still never used the red brand. I've never used the Italian motorcycle. Yamaha has been used for half a season. I didn't quite finish that on MotoGP 21. Aprilia, MotoGP 21. Honda, MotoGP 22. And then, of course, Ducati has never been used. And here is the KTM/GasGas. So, yeah. Maybe next year for MotoGP 24 I'll have to join the 8 other Ducatis, or the 7 other Ducatis, as we replace someone else. But finishing up this lap with Spec B. Bike doesn't feel too bad, but roughly the same as Spec A, to be honest with you. Even though Spec A was slightly faster, we've actually just gone faster with a 1:39.768, which is our best time of the session so far as we break into the Primera corner. We've gone down. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is your first crash on board the GasGas. So just 2 laps and a crash is not where I want it to be. So I'm going to get back out there with Spec B and give it another lap or 2. Maybe 1, maybe 2. Let's just see what happens with these couple of laps. But What I am concerned about, and what I am a little bit embarrassed by, is the fact that we are now dead last, 2.2 seconds behind Quartararo. I don't think we're anywhere close to our full potential yet, but I've got to be honest, Portimao is a circuit that I love. I really like this track. I think it's one of the best circuits on the calendar. Never used to think that way. It's only recently I've started to change my mind about this track, but I go into that category of not being very good at it. It's a difficult circuit, lots of undulation. Of course, they call it the roller coaster for a reason. It's tough. It is challenging. Oh, speaking of challenging, that's Jorge Martin who's gone down. I've just invalidated the lap ever so slightly, so that's a shame. We won't be improving on this one. But yeah, with the Portimao circuit, it's a difficult track, and I'm just going to see what I can do. I don't think whatever our potential lies here is not indicative of what's going to happen throughout the season. Cast your minds back to MotoGP 23 career mode for Moto 2. It looked like it was going to be very bleak. It looked like we were going to have to do a second season to claim the title. Everything changed throughout that season. Once we got to that midway point for the summer break, the boys with the forward chassis just created something genius for us to be competitive in the latter stage of the season. And not just be competitive, but to win multiple races in a row and to win the grandest prize of Moto 2, and that of course is the World Championship. So anything can happen. Don't panic. I'm not panicking yet. It looks bad and it's a little bit embarrassing, but we'll get there. Do not worry. Aces, stay firm. And Aces, if you fancy it, join the Discord server if you want to talk more about MotoGP 23 or MotoGP in real life, because of course interesting things are happening in real MotoGP. Marc Marquez moving over to the Gresini Ducati, Franco Morbidelli over to the Prima Pramac Ducati, and of course many more as well, such as Alex Rins, the Yamaha. So if you want to chat, come over to the Discord server. If you want to be part of the DrAce Academy R7 Cup, or maybe not the R7 Cup anymore because it's finished, but other online championships in Ride 5, then definitely join the Discord within the link in the description down below. So now into the right hand side for turn 7, a little bit sluggish in there. I'm lacking a bit of confidence, and same here into the Samsung corner. It's one of those corners that I feel good going in, and then when I get mid-corner I panic a little bit and tense up, so I do need to sort out the middle part of the track. But it seems to be, as it stands right now, we're only losing a couple of tenths within the first 2 sectors. It's clearly the 3rd and 4th is where we're really losing time, because we're only down by 8 tenths here, so we must be losing a significant amount of time in this final split. But I've got to be honest, it doesn't look like I'm really losing too much time, visibly, but clearly I am. And I know going into the Galp here, which is this right-hander here, I may not be the most confident. I find my line looks smooth, but it's obviously not fast enough, so I need to improve a lot. But speaking of improving, Spec B bike seems to be the key, because across the line it is an improvement to a 139.368. So that's a few laps with Spec B. Let's bounce back over to Spec A now, because technically this bike should be the faster one, so we need to get back on this one and really push it, because I honestly can't see any benefits of using Spec B. It might just be me just completely disregarding the second option, but for me that doesn't seem like a good option, so I'm just going to stick with Spec A for the rest of this video, I do think, because I want to improve. I want to improve the time, and already into the first split, we're only down by a 1/10.5, so that's positive, but clearly in the back end of the circuit is where we're losing time. And that's another instance where I've run onto the rumble strip coming out of turn 3 there, and then to turn 4. It does seem that with this bike in career mode, you just seem to lose a lot of momentum by touching some of the curves in this game. That was a very nice apex going into turn 7 there. I'm quite happy with our performance for turn 7, and can we keep the front end down? Even though anti-wheelie's on 4, I do seem to be struggling to keep the front end down. This bike feels very electronic heavy. Now it could be the fact that I've just been so engrossed with Moto 2 and I've not really been playing much MotoGP recently. A lot of the live GP races I've been doing or been doing videos from have actually been recorded weeks ago, so it's been a while since I've been on the best class in motorcycle racing, but let's see what happens. Good solid entry going into turn 12, I think it was, and now into turn 14. Looks to be a better lap time than the previous best with the Spec B, so this should put us back into the top 20 maybe. We're coming out of the Galp now, let's bring on the power. Careful with the ride height device, and across the line it is an improvement, but by how much? It's a nice improvement indeed. 1.2 we were still down by, but it's a personal best. It's now up to 19th, less than 2 seconds behind your World Championship winner, well, two-time MotoGP World Champion, Pecco Bagnaia. Now, of course, he is a 3-time World Champion, but 2-time MotoGP, of course. He's back in the pits. And Luca Marini ahead of us. He's up there in 17th. Fabio Di Gianantonio, that's way off for Digia. He's certainly going to be higher than that this season, I assure you, but that's very late on the brakes going into the Tour VIP. Oh, we lost a front. Damn it. That's a second crash now. So, after things were looking promising, we did get up into the top 20. We have now been booted back to the last position, and now this is where I am not sure we're going to keep coming back from, because I felt with the 1:38.802 that we did was probably one of the best laps I can do without really sinking hours into this track and trying to improve. But I've got to say, this is really good how competitive the AI is in this game. I was worried about this because I was thinking that MotoGP would be too easy. I know MotoGP 22, when you got to that top class, it seemed to be very weak. And I've got to confess, it's been a while since I did a quick race against the top level of competition. And if I have done it, it's been in certain tracks that I think they've actually struggled. I know Assen is one of those circuits where the AI tend to do really bad at. And I think the last time I did it there was one of those races. So now I'm really intrigued to see what we can produce. And to see what AI can do. But again, getting a big wheelie just coming down the hill there and then into the Craig Jones corner. Just not very confident. Dropping it down to first gear, still something I'm working on. I think I might be downshifting to first too much. It's something I have been conscious about in the past, and I think, especially with MotoGP class, dropping to the first gear too prematurely is one of the worst things you can do for the sense of stability. And as you can see, this GasGas has no stability. You've seen this Spec A and Spec B sheets. It doesn't have much stability at all. And I've got to say, this has been a shocking lap. I might go back in the pits and change. The hard front medium rear is not good for me, so I tried low traction control as well, but I just don't think things are working out here. So I'm going to go back into the pits and I'm going to change the tyres. So now we have gone for the soft option combinations. I just want to see what the feeling is like. Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? I guess we'll find that out. Usually I wouldn't go for the soft front, and they are not recommending to use the soft front as well, so I don't really want to use the soft, but we're sticking with it for now. And now into the right hand side for turn 2. It does feel pretty good, but not significantly better than any of the other combinations we've used. And again, in the first split, only down by 0.2 of a second. We're losing significantly amount of times in the latter stages. We've got to improve from the third and fourth split. It's certainly where my weaknesses are showing, and it's just not very positive. I did notice a moment ago, I didn't actually record that part, but I was following another rider for a little while before I decided to pit, and I noticed how much speed we were losing, which has got me concerned because I'm thinking that maybe the AI are just really fast on the straights, whether it's because the GasGas has got no power. I'm not sure, but it just didn't look all that positive. But into the Portimao corner now into turn 11. We're still down by 2 seconds to the world champion, the number 1, numero uno. And then onto the brakes we go for the left-hander for turn 13. There's that, whoa, that's the caveat of the front tyre. That soft option front was getting really warm. And again, into the right-hand side for turn 14. I'll be lucky to get a lap and a half out of this. It is red hot already. And going into the gallop as well with not even much brake as well. It's getting on fire. But overall, I would say this has been an eye-opening test. It's not been great, but we've got the momentum. We're just going to start learning these bikes, and we'll get there eventually. So that's a little bit loose upon the brakes into the Primera corner, but we were all right. Dodged a bullet there with the very warm, soft front tyre, and then hard on the brakes again into the Lagos corner. Oh, we lost the front again. Oh, this is not going as planned. Well then guys, I think it's better to leave it there because I still need to record the races, so I'm keen to get on with it. I'm pretty much going to assume this test has been simply for us to learn and understand where we are with the GasGas, and it seems that we are in a difficult spot. which is expected. Of course, the Tech 3 team is not going to be exactly just winning every single race, but we have a development plan in mind, and we'll just see what we can do. But I'm going to flick through the specs, lap times here, and I think we're quite all aware and on board with the idea of just going for Spec A, but those are the lap times on screen. Make your decision. What would you go for? Would you try Spec B a little bit more than I did, or would you just agree that Spec A is the bike to be on? But I guess that's it for the video. Interesting test against the 120% difficulty AI. Looks like they will be giving me a run for my money, so I'm all ready for that. And rub your hands together, it should be some really interesting races this season. But of course, let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoyed the test. Of course, let me know if you want to see sprint races and full races on separate videos. And I guess that's it from me. So thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure to make this video for you. And thanks for joining me for the MotoGP 23 season of the best motorcycles in the world. I cannot wait to see what we can produce. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.